Hello, my sweet and precious seventh graders. Thank you so much for joining me. We're going to go ahead and get started on lesson 44, division. We're going to talk about these guys here. We've got, so if you're in my class and you're watching this, you need to be writing down everything I write down in your notes section of your binder. For example, number 1, it says divide 54 by 4. Divide 54 by 4 and A, write it with a remainder. So the way that we would do it with a remainder is we would have 4 on the outside, 54 on the inside. 4 goes into 5 one time. 1 times 4 is 4. Minus 1, and when we subtract, we bring down. 4 goes into 14 3 times, without going over. 3 times 4 is 12. So that's 2, so it's remainder 2. Okay, so that's writing it with a remainder. For B, it's saying write it as a mixed number. So we're going to do the same thing where we have 54. We know it goes in 1 time. That gives us 4. We subtract and we bring down. We get 14. We know that that goes in 3 times. 3 times 4 gives us 12 with a remainder of 2. This time, instead of writing the remainder as 2, we write it as 2 over whatever this number is, so 4. In this case, 2 over 4, we can definitely reduce that down. That's going to give me 13 and 1/2. So we have 13, remainder 2, and 13, kind of lobbed that off, 13 and 1/2. For C, write that as a decimal. Okay, so the way that we would do this is, I'm going to scooch these guys over, minus 12, 2. Okay, so we would have 54. So it's the same as all the other ones. There is a decimal right here. We are going to bring that up here, because remember, if the decimal's not shown, it's right there. 4 goes in here 1 time, minus 4, 14. 4 goes into 14 3 times, that gives us 12. Okay, subtract 2. Now this time we bring down an extra 0. So 4 goes into 20 5 times. 5 times 4 is 20. No further work is necessary. So those are the 3 different ways that we can write division, decimal division, one of those words, division problems. These are the most common that I will see. I don't want to see this anymore. No more remainders, okay? So let's see about number 2. Example 2 says divide 37.4 by 9 and round the quotient to the nearest thousandth. Remember, thousandth is our 3rd decimal place over, right? So we're going to be rounding to that 3rd spot. If we're rounding to the 3rd spot, that means we need to actually go to the 4th spot and see what we get there in order to be able to round, okay? So we're going to take 937.4, okay? Since we're rounding to a decimal spot, we're going to be doing the decimal and bring that decimal right up here. 9 goes into 37 4 times. 4 times 9 is 36 minus 1. When we subtract, we bring down. 9 goes into 14 1 time. 1 times 9 is 9. That gives us 5. So we're going to bring down a 0, right? I'm allowed to add zeros all the way as I want. 9 goes into 55 times. 5 times 9 is 45. Minus, we get 5. Bring down another 0. 9 goes into 50. 5 times 9 is 45. And you'll see that we keep going on and on and on with this guy. So on, right? So the way that we need to write this is to the 3rd decimal place. Well, that means 4.15. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spots over. This guy is 5 or greater, which means this guy, which is what we're rounding to, needs to get boosted up. So it's going to be 4.155 to the, are we rounding to the thousandths? That's the 3rd place over. I'm sorry, I went 1 too far. So we're going to be rounding to the 3rd place, not the 10,000ths. And so we need to, this guy is a 5, which means this guy gets boosted up. So this is going to be a 6. So this would be our answer for rounding, okay? Another way of writing that would be 4.15 with a line over the top, okay? All right, so example 3. Vans will be used to transport 27 students on a field trip. Each van can carry 6 students. How many vans can be filled? Well, 6 students, there's 27 students and 6 per van. So 6 goes in 4 times. 6 times 4 is 24 with a remainder of 3. This is probably the only time where a remainder is okay. Remainder of 3. You could also write it as 3 over, and we use whatever this number is, 6. Well, we know 3/6 reduces down to 4 1/2. So so A, how many vans can be filled? 4 vans can be filled, right? With a remainder of, so if I wrote this as remainder of 3, that means that there's a remainder of 3 students left over. So 4 vans can be filled. How many vans will be needed? Well, we don't want to leave those 3 students behind, so 5 vans will be needed, okay, even though there's going to be extra room. For C, if all but one of the vans is filled, then how many students are in the van that is not full? Well, we look back at our remainder, we had 3 students left out. 3 students are in the partially, or I spelled that wrong, partially filled van. 3 students are in the partially filled van. All right, guys, so on page 269, the practice problems are about halfway down the page. I want you to go ahead and practice those and then come on back. So pause the video, practice those, and then come on back. So A, divide 55 divided by 4 and write the answer A with a remainder. So 55 divided by 4 goes in 1 time, 4 minus, bring down. 4 goes into 15 3 times. 3 times 4 is 12, minus with a remainder of 3, okay? Now, if we're gonna write that as a mixed number, it's gonna be 4, oh, I'm sorry. We don't have to do all the division again, right? It's just gonna be 13 with the remainder 3 over 4, like that, okay? For C, it's asking to write it as a decimal. So we're gonna do 4 over 55, goes in 1, that's 1, 5, that's gonna be 3, so 3 times 4 is 12 minus, so we get 3. Now, we have that decimal at the end there. If it's not noted, remember it's at the end, and we also have to bring it up. So we're gonna take a 0, and we're gonna bring down a 0. 4 goes into 30, 7 times, right? 7 times 4 is 28, minus, we get 2, bring down another 0. 4 goes into 20 5 times. So this can be written as a decimal as 13 75 hundredths. 13 75 hundredths. Again, it's a good idea to remember 3/4 is 75 hundredths. Okay, so that was A, B, and C. D, divide 5.5 by 3 and round that to 3 decimal places. So 5.5, I'm gonna put a 5 right there. 3 goes into 5, so 3 goes into 5 1 time, that gives me 2, bring down that 5. 3 goes into 25 8 times, 8 times 3 is 24, that gives me a 1. Oh, we're rounding it to 3 decimal places, so we have to go out 4 decimal places so we can round correctly. So 1, so when I subtract, I also bring down. 3 goes into 10, 3 times that is 9 minus 1. That gives me 1, bring down another 0. 10, 3 goes in. So you can see that 3 is going to be repeating, right? We're rounding to 3 decimal places. So we're going to round 1, 2, 3. We're going to round to right here, which means we need to look at this guy. If it's 5 or greater, we're going to boost that one up, but it's not. So our answer is 1.833. We don't change that to a 4. We just leave it the way it is. That was D, by the way. E, 93 students are assigned to 4 classrooms as equally as possible. How many students are in each of the 4 classrooms? So 93 students are divided into 4 classrooms. So 4 and 93. All right, let's work through this. 4 goes into 9 2 times, and that equals 8. 1, bring down a 3. So 4 times 2 is 8. 2 times 4 is 8. Subtract, and when I subtract, I bring down. 4 goes into 13 3 times. 3 times 4 is 12. That gives us a remainder of 1. So that means that all the classrooms, so 8 classrooms, to equally divide them, 8 classrooms will have 23 students. 1 classroom will have that remainder, right, needs to go somewhere. So 1 classroom will have 24 students, okay? We'll have 24 students. All right, guys, if you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I will see you on the next lesson. Thanks, guys.